All right, dear children, welcome back to the class. In this video, we'll discuss some of the important questions on force and laws of motion. All right, so here is the part one. I have made a part two also. You can see it in the playlist. And in part one, up to third law of motion. All right, up to third law of motion, the things have been covered in the first video, and in the second video, along with this third law, we have discussed about this law of conservation of momentum. You must be having idea about this already if you have studied this chapter. We have discussed about law of conservation of momentum in the second video and related numericals. So whatever numericals are there related to law of conservation of momentum, those are discussed in the second video. All right, then let us start this video. Let us take a question by question. As I keep on writing the question, you also write the question and try to answer for this. For example, I have written this question: define inertia. Now you pause the video and try to write the answer, then compare your answer with my answer. All right, what is inertia? This is quite simple. It is the property of a body. It is the property of a body due to which it resists the change in resists the change in state of motion. It resists the change in state of motion, right? What do you mean by resist the change in state of motion? That means a body at rest wants to remain at rest only, right? And body in uniform motion wants to continue uniform motion only, right? So this is quite simple. First one, second one, whichever you want, you can write. Both are correct definitions for this. All right, now second question is body A has mass 100 kg and body B has mass 50 kg. Okay, now they're asking which body has more inertia. All right, so in ninth standard, the limit is like according to mass. More mass means more inertia. 100 kg body, body A, correct? Body A has more inertia. Why? Because its mass is also more, that's why more inertia. Actually, this inertia depends on the distribution of mass also. For example, the shape and all that you will study in 11th standard. But right now, more mass means more inertia. Please remember this. Whenever more mass is there, then we are going to have more inertia, and less mass means less inertia. You must be clear about that. Now let us get into the third question. Third question is like this: write the statement of Newton's first law of motion. They're asking what is Newton's first law of motion. So what is the Newton's first law of motion? A body at rest remains at rest only, and body in uniform motion remains in uniform motion only till we apply external force. Okay, until and unless we apply this external force, a body at rest wants to remain at rest only, and body in uniform motion wants to remain in uniform motion only. This Newton's first law is there. No, this first law is also, answer is over here. Okay, I'm giving you extra data. First law, this Newton's first law. So whatever this Newton's first law is there, that is also called as law of inertia, correct? So all right then. Then moving forward to fourth question. Here is the fourth question. Give reason for the following. Give reason for the following. Okay, you have to give the reason. The first one, I mean, a person sitting in a bus, at rest, sitting in a bus at rest, falls backwards, when bus moves, suddenly. Okay, the reason for this, I mean, for this, the reason is due to inertia. Quite simple. I mean, the reason is due to inertia. I mean, if they're asking you to explain, then you should explain. Now look at this. I mean, there is a bus. Okay, there is a bus like this. All right, all different seats and all, they have been made in this bus. Now here is the steering wheel, and here the driver is sitting and he's driving the bus. Now a person is sitting here, for example. All right, now when this person is sitting, now this bus, I mean, it was at rest. Okay, so it was at rest means the person's body got adjusted to be at rest only, correct? It got adjusted. I mean, it is neither moving forward, I mean, it is neither moving forward nor moving backward. Now immediately bus starts, and once the bus started means it is going forward. For example, it starts to move. Now what happens is, now this person is there, now this person is sitting here. Now this person's body don't want to move forward, correct? It don't want to move forward. All right, why? Due to inertia. I mean, his body has got adjusted to remain back. I mean, it don't want to go forward like this, correct? No. So once it don't want to go forward means, I mean, it wants to remain at rest only. I mean, he's sitting means he wants to remain there only. He don't want to go forward with the bus. So that's why what his body does, it falls back. Do you remember? I mean, when you are sitting on a bike, for example, suddenly the bike is accelerated. I mean, immediately the bike starts. Where do you fall on the bike? You fall backward. No, why? Because your body got adjusted to remain there only, but the bike is asking you to come forward, so that's why you won't go forward. I mean, you fall backward. I mean, it takes some time to adjust with this forward motion. Afterwards you get adjusted with this, but initially you won't go. I mean, you'll fall backward. I hope it is clear. All right, the simple reason is like you can just write due to inertia. All right, anyway, then moving forward, the B, brakes are applied, brakes are applied, brakes are applied when train is still far away, still far away from the railway station. Why? I mean, again, what happens here, the train is very heavy, right? First of all, train is heavy, now to stop that, it's not an easy task, correct? Train is heavy means a train has more inertia, now more inertia means when it is moving, it is difficult to stop it, correct? I mean, immediately at the station we cannot stop it, correct? So when brakes are applied at large distance, it will I mean, stop in installments. I mean, slowly it will start and it will come to station and it will stop, correct? Train has more inertia. Brakes have to be applied, brakes have to be applied long before the station. I mean, it has a heavy and it is not going to stop immediately, right? For example, you are driving a bike, so immediately if somebody calls you, I mean, are you going to stop immediately? For example, here you have applied the brake means at this place, the bike is not going to stop here. The bike will travel a little bit distance and bike is going to stop here. No, why? Because it has some mass, no, so it takes some time to stop. So like that train is very heavy, no? So if you apply, for example, here is the station. We have got the station here. Now immediately if you apply the brake here, the train will stop after the station, correct? So that's why what you have to do, for example, it is a few kilometer, maybe 2 kilometer from the station, here the brakes are applied. Okay, once here the brakes are applied, the train will go and it will stop at this station. I hope the concept has become clear. I mean, here if you're applying brakes, the train will go slowly and it will stop at the station. Yeah, this is due to inertia again. I think it is clear. Then let us look into the question number C. A person runs along with the bus when he gets out of a moving bus. Why? I mean, what is the reason they're asking? Now look at this. I mean, here is the bus. All right. Again, the steering, driver. Okay, here driver is sitting, and there is compartments here, seats and all. Here one person is, for example, he wants to get out of this bus. Here we have got one person here. All right. One boy is there. Now this bus is already moving. Okay, already it is moving. Now if he is jumping out means, now look at this, his body has got adjusted to move where? His body has got adjusted to move forward, no? Move forward, it has got adjusted. Now immediately if he jumps and stops here, I mean, where is the tendency of his movement? Tendency of his movement is forward, so that's why he will fall, correct, no? So that's why what he does when he jumps out of the bus, no, when he is jumping out of the bus, I mean, he jumped out of the bus, he runs a little bit distance. Okay, he runs along with the bus so as to maintain his balance, correct? Once the balance is maintained, he'll stop and he will go for other works. All right, I hope you're understanding. So how to write this answer? when a person is when a person is inside the bus, when a person is inside the bus, his body is adjusted, to move forward only, move forward only, correct? Then after that, when he jumps out and do not run along with bus, he falls forward, okay? To avoid that, and to maintain his balance, he or she runs along with the bus. All right, I hope it is clear. Okay, just to maintain the balance, he has to run a little bit. All right, then. So those were the reasons. Now let us get on to this fifth question. Fifth question is define momentum. Define momentum. These are the simple 1 mark question which can be asked. What are the momentum? Tell me. Product of mass and velocity. Product of mass and velocity is called momentum. All right, this is quite a simple question, no? For example, there is a body of mass m and it is moving with velocity v. So what is its momentum? Momentum symbol is p. P is equal to mv. Okay, it is a vector quantity. We gave this vector sign and all. That's a different issue, but this is the momentum. All right, now they are asking, write the unit of momentum. Write the unit of momentum. Okay, what is the unit of momentum? Let us see that. All right, so what is the formula for momentum? P is equal to mv. So its unit is going to be, what is its unit? And it is going to be kg meter per second. So this is the unit of momentum, kg meter per second. All right, then let us move on to this seventh question. Seventh question is define Newton's second law of motion. Define Newton's second law of motion and derive F is equal to ma. Okay, so what is Newton's second law of motion? Everybody knows this statement. Rate of change of momentum. Rate of change of momentum. Rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to force applied on the body. Force applied on the body. So this is a statement, and they are asking us to bring this F equal to ma also. Let us do that. For example, a body is there with mass m and it is moving with velocity u. Now what you did, so for this body with mass m which was moving with velocity u, I mean, if you apply force, I mean, let me show it here only. On this, if you are applying the force, what will happen in some time? Okay, it will take some time, and its mass is remaining same, and in some time its velocity has become v. Correct, no? So rate of change of momentum means, you understand, no? Final momentum means we usually write it as pf minus initial momentum. Momentum means pi, then divided by t. So this rate of change in momentum divided by time taken means this is the rate of change of momentum. This is directly proportional to force taken, I mean force applied here. So the force applied is directly proportional to, rather than saying that, you can say the rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to force applied on the body. Correct? So then afterwards, what else you can write? You can write it as F is proportional to Pf. Final momentum means mass into final velocity, that becomes mv, minus initial momentum becomes that becomes mu, then divided by t. All right, so then you can carry forward this, that becomes F is proportional to m is common, and it becomes v minus u divided by t. All right, now if you want to find out that F is proportional to m into v minus u by t, look at this, v minus u by t means what is this? This is acceleration. Then we are going to have F is equal to k into ma. All right, so in SI system, the value of this k is equal to 1. So that's why we have this F is equal to 1 into, I mean, you can directly write, so F is equal to ma. All right, so force is equal to mass into acceleration. All right, fine then. So this was the derivation for this seventh question. I mean, this is the equation for second law of motion, dear children. I mean, based upon this only numericals can be asked. How they can be asked? For example, there is a body of mass m. It is moving with acceleration a, means definitely there must be some force on it. Correct? So then that force is equal to mass into acceleration. Otherwise, there is a body of mass m and some force you are applying, means it will get some acceleration or not. So that acceleration, so then you can apply F is equal to ma, then acceleration is equal to, you can find it by the formula F by m. Correct? So mass m is there, force you have applied, that means it will have some acceleration for sure. All right, so this is the relation between F, m and a. By using this, we should be able to solve the numericals. I'll give you some of the examples so that you understand. All right, let us take this eighth question. What is this eighth question? A body's velocity changes from 10 meter per second to 15 meter per second in 2 seconds. Okay, find force acting on it. If mass of the body is 10 kg. Okay, let us try to understand this, dear children. For example, there is a body of mass 10 kg here. Okay, mass is 10 kg. All right, now it was moving with how much velocity? 10 meter per second. Now after some time, after some time means how many seconds? In t equal to 2 seconds, I mean 10 kg, definitely that will remain, and it becomes 15 meter per second, means there must be some force on it. No, somebody must have applied the force. No, so that force only they are asking. Correct, dear children? So this is like u, and this is like v, and this is like t, and this m 10 kg is there, no? So what is this? This is like m, so you can write that data. M is equal to 10 kg, already you have shown in the diagram, and u is equal to 10 meter per second, and v is equal to 15 meter per second, and t is equal to 2 second, right? Now if they're asking force, means I mean how much force is acting on it. Okay, so what is the formula for force? For force there is only one formula. What is that? ma. Correct? M is there, and a, is it there? No, but a can be calculated by using this. So that is like m, you can write it as a 10 kg, and a formula can be written as v minus u divided by t, like this you can write. Correct? So it becomes 10 into v. V is what? V is like 15 minus u is 10, then divided by t. T means 2 seconds. Correct? 2 ones are 2 fives are. Then it becomes 5 into 5, and that is equal to 25 Newton. So the force is like 25 Newton. Try to understand this situation, dear children. Now there is a body of mass 10 kg. On this, if you apply a force of 25 Newton, we got it as 25 Newton, no? So if you apply the force of 25 Newton for 2 seconds, then the velocity becomes 15 meter per second. I hope you must be understanding the logic. Like this, many questions can be framed on Newton's second law of motion. All right, then let us look into this ninth question. 100 Newton of force is applied on a body. Okay, there is a body, on that 100 Newton force is applied, and the body experience a friction of, a friction of 10 Newton. All right, find acceleration of the body. Find acceleration of the body if its mass is 10 kg. All right, there is a body like this, okay, which is having a mass of 10 kg. Now on this there is some force applied. So what is this force? This force applied is like 100 Newton. All right, now on applying this 100 Newton, it will start to move for sure. Okay, it will start to move with some acceleration. There is no denying in that. Now I mean on the road it will experience some friction also. Friction will be opposite, you know that. Okay, so this is the frictional force. So this body, I mean friction, it is on the surface, no? Wherever it is touching, there will be some friction, you know about this. So here will be the friction. So how much is this friction force? This friction force is like 10 Newton. Now in this 100 Newton, whatever you have applied, this 100 Newton is not getting converted into acceleration. Complete is not getting converted into this acceleration. Correct? In that 10 Newton, whatever 10 Newton is there, so it is getting wasted, no? So on this body of mass 10 kg, what is the net force? Now look at this. I mean here is 100 Newton and here is 10 Newton, means the I mean you can just consider the net force. So whatever this net force, usually we call it as net force. Net force means total force. Correct? No, by cancelling this friction of 10 Newton, so what is this? This will be 90 Newton, and afterwards I mean mass is there. Now it starts to move with some acceleration. Now you can cancel, you can calculate. So that is like F net. In such cases, wherever there is friction and all, you are supposed to write F net. F net is equal to mass into acceleration. F net is 90 and mass is 10, and acceleration we don't know. Then acceleration is equal to 90 by 10, and it becomes A is equal to 9 meter per second square, right? So this is quite a simple, but you should be able to apply this net force. All right, then moving on to the 10th question. I thought of adding this in the second part, but it's okay, you can have idea about this. Define Newton's third law of motion. Define Newton's third law of motion. So what is this third law of motion? For every action, there is equal and opposite reaction. So this is a statement, but you have to remember action and reaction will be on different bodies. Here the answer is over, but you have to remember whatever action and reactions are there, no? So action and reactions will be on different bodies. Okay, will be on different bodies. If body A is applying, for example, here I have got body A and it is in touch with body B. Now body A is applying action on, it is doing some action on body B, means body B will give some reaction to body A. Okay, so this Newton's third law of motion is there, no? So this is also called as action reaction law. So what is the name for this? The name for this is action reaction law. All right. So regarding this Newton's third law of motion and law of conservation of momentum and related numericals, I'll be discussing in the second video. All right, dear children. If you got it useful, if you found it useful, like the video, share it among your friends so that good work can reach everyone. And don't forget to comment how do you feel about the video, and whatever you want to listen from us, you can comment that. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that the good work will grow and it will reach maximum number of people. Then I will see you at the second part of this force and laws of motion. All right, dear children, thank you very much. Have a good day and bye bye.